But times have changed. We know that this college basketball game was viewed by more people than all the men's college basketball games. This tournament.
It's bigger than the overall. Oh, sorry, Sonny. It's bigger than the overall revenue.
Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and the rest of The View got absolutely ravaged and ripped apart by their very own audience on Twitter and just by The View's audience in general. They got destroyed by their own audience because of how ridiculous this take and these takes are here from Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar and the rest of them. This one is from The View. It says, Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary sparks controversy. The View. It only sparks controversy among people who don't understand supply and demand. But we'll get into all of that in 1 second. Let's let Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin dig themselves the hole, and then we're going to absolutely, just bury them in the hole with common sense. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. You have a little bit of critical thinking skills, and you can just destroy all of these talking points. If you had a debate between Whoopi Goldberg and anyone with critical thinking skills that wasn't incentivized to push a certain narrative, a certain piece of propaganda, certain talking points, you could demolish any of these people, any of these talking points from Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, or any of them. Let's check this out.
Breakout college hoop superstar and #1 draft pick Caitlin Clark just signed with the NBA's Indiana Fever for
the WNBA, not the NBA.
And are you ready? $76,000. In fact, listen to me. Listen to this, because if you thought that was some way to hear this. The entire Fever payroll is $1.2 million.
Less.
That is less than the minimum salary for a single NBA player with a year's experience. So the women have the headlines, they have the fans, they have the viewers.
They don't have any of those things. They don't have fans. They don't have viewers. They're going to bring it up later on, but yeah, the women's national championship was more viewed than the men's national championship. They had a lot of headlines. They had a lot of storylines going into, the Final Four of this women's, basketball tournament. But that's a one-time thing. And to be honest with you, look, I'm a sports fan. I play basketball all the time. I really don't enjoy watching men's college basketball. It looks miserable to play and it's miserable to watch, just to be straight up honest with you. Like the spacing on the court, the way that the star players aren't able to be star players because their coaches want them to all be team players. It just looks miserable to play and miserable to watch. The NBA is much more pleasurable to watch than college basketball. And I'm a college sports fan, So that's another reason why I'm an LSU fan as well. So last year was the first time that I really sat down and watched a women's basketball game. It is embarrassing, dude, how bad they are. Like, it's constant airballed layups, airballed three-pointers, people airballing or missing their own wide open layups, getting their own rebound, missing another wide open layup. It's like, and these are supposed to be star players. They're terrible. So just because they had more viewership than the men's national championship one time, it doesn't mean that the WNBA should tank their profits more than they already are just to appease mean, angry old ladies on The View.
When the hell are they going to get paid? I don't understand why, because ESPN, who we work for, also part of the Disney thing, they came in and swooped in and said, okay, we're going to start to do this. I don't understand why they didn't say, and I know that there's a re-up coming.
There is.
But they should have kissed this deal by taking care of all of the WNBA and giving them enough money for a bump up, because you haven't.
Why, somebody tell me, why should they do that? Why are they morally obligated to do that just because they're women? If they don't bring in the money, then why the hell would you pay them more money? They don't bring in money. And if they do, they will make their money in sponsorships. I guarantee you, Caitlin Clark, I'm pretty sure she signed with Nike already. I guarantee you, if Caitlin Clark deserves more than $76,000, she will get it, because supply and demand. If the demand is there for Caitlin Clark to be shown on more screens, for Caitlin Clark to get more sponsorships, she will get them. She will get more screens. She will get more sponsorships. And the trump card to all of this is, hey, if you want to get paid NBA money, go play in the NBA. Why don't you just go play in the NBA? Because they physically can't do it. They're not as good as the men. That's just the fact. And that's why they get paid less.
Another deal to make. But they should have sweetened that deal.
Let me just put it into context a little bit because it does seem terribly unfair, right? The salary amount.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm on the WNBA Board of Advocates.
Yeah, I know.
And so we were working on this collective bargaining agreement. By the way, the new collective bargaining agreement that was signed in 2020 gave the players a 53% increase in salary.
So that's how
yes, that's how bad it. That should tell you how bad it was. Now, in context, though. They also got better travel arrangements because they were actually putting these very tall women in coach. They were sharing hotel rooms. They were riding terrible buses. So we came a long way from where we were. But the bottom line is, you know, the NBA has been in existence for 50 more years than the WNBA. They do bring in more money. They bring in about, you know, several $billion as opposed to several $1 million.
I like how Sunny Hostin just brushes over this, and the other host on The View are just brushing over that fact. The NBA brings in several $1 billion as opposed to several $1 million. How do you, that's all you had to say. And it puts every other complaint that you have to bed right there. The NBA brings in several $1 billion. That is why they can pay their veteran minimum is higher than the top paid player or the Indiana Fever's entire payroll. That's why. Is it not? Like, do you understand how much $1 billion is? That's a lot more than several $1 million. By like, I don't even think these people, Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg, I don't think they can even fathom how much several $1 billion is.
But times have changed. We know that this college basketball game was viewed by more people than all the men's college basketball games. This tournament.
It's bigger than the overall. Oh, sorry, Sunny. It's bigger than the overall revenue. It's that 40% of NBA league revenues go to player salaries in the NBA. In the WNBA, they only put forth 10%. So this isn't about they make billions, they make millions. This is a crappy deal.
That's what it is. But
it's not a crappy deal. They get 10% on their salary because they don't bring in money. The players themselves don't bring in money. They have to find ways to get more eyeballs on the WNBA. So 10% goes towards salaries because they have to spend the other 90% trying to get people to actually watch, to get people in the games. Like, dude, I'm pretty sure you can just go to an WNBA game for like $3 because nobody goes. Nobody wants to watch that. It's boring. That's why, like, Caitlin Clark going to the WNBA, she's going to get these sponsorships and everything right now. She better cash in right now because she's going to be irrelevant in a couple of years. There's no doubt about it.
Because a new group has come in and could have sweetened all of that.
They should have,
as a bump to the WNBA.
The money they're bringing in.
They could have came in and just absolutely destroyed their profit margins, the very, very slim profit margins that they have right now with the WNBA in general. They could have. They were morally obligated in Whoopi Goldberg's eyes to come in and just slash their profit margins because they're women and they deserve more because they're women. That's it. That's the only reason why.
Fanatics sold more Clark jerseys in 1 hour after she was drafted than any other sport or player ever.
Well, that money, and I think we're going to see a change. There's no question.
Well, they sold a bunch of $15 jerseys. I'm sure that won't move the needle much at all.
New collective bargaining agreement.
See, I
think we're going to see a change.
The key is because the critics will say, well, it's the economics. They don't bring in as much revenue. But we learned from women's soccer that if you invest in promoting, in being on commercials, advertising, the viewers
remember there was no WNBA to watch.
Correct.
They didn't film it. They didn't show it.
U.S. women's soccer ended up being more profitable than the men's team. And
Are they really this stupid? Are they really this stupid? I know I keep pausing, but every single word that comes out of their mouth is just ridiculous. Like, the women's soccer team gets viewed more and makes more money than the men's soccer team because the women's soccer team wins more, dumbass. That's why. It's not because people just like to watch women's sports more. Like, obviously that's not the case throughout history. And in any other country in the world, people who actually care about soccer outside of the United States, they like to watch the men more because they like to watch higher skilled players instead of the women. Like I said, anytime you watch a women's sport, they suck. I'm going to be honest with you. I know it's going to piss people off. Obviously, the professionals are going to be like, oh, well, you couldn't beat, I don't even know a WNBA player. You couldn't beat Caitlin Clark in a 1v1. Like, yeah, no shit. Maybe if I trained every single day to do it, I probably could. But like, that's always their response. It's like, okay, but in comparison to watching professional men play the sport, they suck. No doubt about it. So every other country in the world, they like to watch the men play soccer more because they care more about the higher skilled players. United States, we don't really care about soccer that much. So we like to watch what's more entertaining. And what's more entertaining to us is watching the women because they win more in soccer. There's no way that they're this stupid.
The league so long to catch up. If you invest in the players, in the merchandising, the viewers will be there.
And the advertisers don't pay the WNBA broadcast as much as they pay the NBA broadcast. But again,
ESPN makes those deals. I've put a lot of this on ESPN because I feel like if you're going to go for a brand,
why don't you go do it, Whoopi? You make a lot of money just from saying nonsense on The View. Why don't you go buy the WNBA or buy the rights to host the WNBA games on your own network, and you could lose all your money. You go ahead and you lose $20 million a year just because you're morally obligated to. Why don't I blame you? You're the one with, you got a lot of money, right? You did a lot of movies in the past, a lot of stuff like that. Now you get to sit on The View and sit at a round table full of angry old ladies and complain about nonsense and spread propaganda. Why don't you just go buy it and you go do it?
New thing, and you're gonna, because they're not making any money, so it's a good deal for you at the moment. You're gonna have to come in and collective bargain late next year. But my feeling was, listen, when you took them on, you should have said, we can't pay everybody what they're getting, but we're gonna give you a jump. And I think you still have time to do that because these numbers, and you didn't used to show the WNBA. Let's be honest, but you weren't interested in women's sports.
They were not. And can I just add?
We still aren't. We still don't care about women's sports.
Just one thing. This is why Brittany Griner was in Russia and got detained for 10 months.
No, the reason why she was in Russia and got detained for 10 months is because she was a criminal. She broke the law, dumbass.
Okay, let's remember that. She was detained because a Russian team paid her $1 million a year. She just extended her contract with the WNBA for $150,000.
Maybe
Marjorie. Well, why don't she go back to Russia or go play on the NBA? I can't stand these women, man. Let me know in the comments what you think about this ridiculous clip here from The View talking about the WNBA salary stuff. What do you think about Sonny Hostin's remarks about the whole thing? What do you think about Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, the rest of their thoughts? What do you think about this clip here from The View? If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hope to see you guys on the next one.